Keys to becoming an expert. So we're gonna start here with finding a seller's motivation. And the reason I start here is knowing the seller's motivation. We know if our subject to is gonna work for them, if our interest only is gonna work for them, if our principal reduction is gonna work for them. Since we're not offering cash, we're not gonna give them the full lump sum of cash up front. We have to know what their motivation is so that we can kind of anchor their motivation with the offer that we're giving them, right? So the first thing we're gonna start off with is relationships kill all objections. Super important. Relationships kill objections. So if you can have that in your head of I'm going in, I'm going to develop a relationship with the seller. After I develop my relationship with the seller, after I go in and develop my relationship with the seller, then I can come in and offer them XYZ offer, right? So this is key, right? This is going to be key in order to get success. It's going to start with confidence, we're going to go into tonality, and we're going to go into posture. Why did I start with all these three? Because if you have confidence, tonality, and the right posture, even if you don't know your numbers, you can still get deals. That is the crazy part about this business because these are motivated sellers. They're people that need an angel. They're people that need saving. They're people that need someone in their life to help them through whatever rough patch they're going through. So, with the right confidence, with the right tonality, with the right posture, you will still be able to lock up deals. So, when I say confidence, it's confidence in yourself, confidence that you are the person that can take, quote unquote, control of their mortgage because you're the one that's going to be paying on their behalf. So, you have to remember they have to have confidence in you that you are the person that they trust in order to take their payments where you can make them on their behalf. That is what truly seller finance slash subject to slash creative finance is they're giving you the trust to make payments on their behalf. Tonality is another big thing because if they're really energetic, you want to come in energetic. If they're really soft spoken, and the way I like to put it is this way: imagine Imagine you go to someone that's a little elderly and they speak a little bit slower and they need so much explanation and they have the tonality of, hey, yeah, I understand, can you explain it again, please? Can you repeat that, please? Right? You can't say, yeah, 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 you're gonna get $200,000, you're gonna make $10, whatever, right? Like, you can't say that. You have to be, yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay you $500 a month for the next 10 years. Is that something you might consider? That is so much different. I didn't change my confidence giving that little pitch or giving that little offer, but what I did change was my tonality. So match your tonality, and if someone that's a little bit more intense, can you please explain that? Yeah, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get $200,000. I'm gonna give you $500 a month for the next 110 months of your life. Is that something you might like or consider? Right? Like, it's still kind of like, I'd probably tone it down a little bit, but the point is still this: like, you have to try to match your tonality, and last but not least is have a good posture. So if you can have a posture where you look confident, you look like you're the person that can take this deal, everything's gonna start to kind of like fall in place. Now, some guidelines I would like to follow, and I do personally follow, and I would recommend that you follow too, is be consistent. So learn how to be consistent in your numbers, in your follow up, in the way that you're speaking to people, in the way that you're handling objections, which is over here. But be consistent in every single thing you do when it comes to this world. If you're doing a marketing campaign, be consistent in your marketing campaign. If you're talking to sellers in a certain way, giving certain offers, be consistent in the offers that you're giving them. Another thing is learn how to be punctual. Extremely important to be punctual in this business. If you have an appointment at 6 o'clock, do not be the person that gets there at 6:15, 6:30, and still thinks you can close these deals. You're here to actually help people, so treat their time with respect, because if you do pick up these deals, you're making a ton of money on cash flow, equity, or cash now, cash later, cash along the way. So super important to be punctual. This is one, the how to dress the part. So this is one that I actually learned later on in life because I was a realtor in the beginning. So as a realtor, you always want to dress up and look a little bit better than you are. Like, you, okay, even if you don't have money, you want the suit, you want the nice car, you want the khaki pants, you want the dress shoes. All that works for being a realtor, but when you're in the creative finance as subject to game, I actually tend to dress down. So I'll go in cap, I'll go in t-shirts, I can go in a button up, tennis shoes, jeans. I actually dress completely different than what it is to be a realtor because we're going in there trying to help them. So if we come in with our luxury car and our luxury suit and our Rolex, so if we go in there with our luxury car, luxury suit, and a Rolex, guess what's going to happen? It looks like we're there to make money, which, yes, we are there to make money, but you don't want to look like you're there to make money. You want to look like you're there to actually help them through something. Another good thing is I like to train to overcome objections, and it is super important because you're gonna get hit with objections left to right in this business. So the better trained you are to overcome objections, the more deals you're going to close. If they tell you, for example, what happens if you don't make the monthly payments? Well, if I don't make the monthly payments, then you know what? You can actually default on me and foreclose on me. So all the equity that I have built up into this property, let's say it happens 5 years down the road, you can actually become the owner and take back that equity, right? Even something like that is learning how to overcome the objections for the situation that you're in. But usually the objections tend to, what if you don't make the payments? What if my credit gets fucked up? What if I have to do X, Y, Z? So that's kind of like where we're going to be in the objection handling. It usually always comes in the form of credit slash payment. Usually those are the main objections that you're going to get, but there are other objections. How to handle rejection. This one I put in here because I think it is super important with a lot of beginners, or even later. I'm been doing this for like 7 years and I still get the rejection, but I look at rejection a little bit differently. So the way I look at rejection is these realtors that I'm reaching out to and making these offers do not understand what I'm telling them, and they are undereducated. My sellers are undereducated. So if anyone thinks after I talk to them that I am not trying to make them more money and I'm not trying to give them a win-win situation, I am doing something wrong, right? But when it comes to realtors, that you give them a subject to offer, and if you are watching this and you're a realtor, wholesaler, investor, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you hit an undereducated realtor that does not even want to present your offer because they think it's illegal or unethical, when actually they're the ones that are unethical for not even presenting your offer. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But the point is, you're going to handle a lot of rejection in this game, so get used to rejection. And actually, what I use rejection as is I'm getting one step closer. Okay, if they rejected me for X, okay, what if I would have said it in a different way? What if I would have built a relationship before I actually sent them the offer? What if I would have X, right? So every rejection you get, try to handle it with a little bit of positive outlook on things, and like, you know what, they gave me the rejection because I should have done X differently, right? So how to build a relationship with everyone. Also, another very important thing, build a relationship with sellers, with realtors, with banks, with attorneys, with just everybody you know, because you never know what someone is going through today. Something I always say, and I've been asked a lot of questions like, oh, how do I know there's enough deals in the area for everyone out here? Well, put it this way. Every day someone loses their job, every day someone dies, and every day someone gets divorced. You just want to be the person that's in front of them that day that it happened to them, in order to help them through whatever situation that they're going through and give them the most money possible in your terms, right? So, on top of that is, how can you become an expert in the field? This is really the core of you becoming an expert. And if you could do these things, you're going to make a lot of money. Is write out all the objections that you're faced with. So any objection that you're going through, write it out, and then go into number two, which is role play. So if they tell you, how are you going to make the payments on their behalf? How's my credit going to be affected? How is XYZ? Immediately write that objection down, figure out how you handled it, whether it went good or whether it went bad, and then get straight into the role playing of the objections. Now, if you don't have anyone to role play with, find someone. And if you don't have someone to role play with, or you can't find someone to role play with, I actually take it one step further and go even harder. And I talk to people that want to sell their house, or realtors that are not even interested in my deal, so I can handle their objections. Because if you can handle the hardest objection there is, when you talk to a true motivated seller, it's going to be a piece of cake. So if you want the hard and dirty way of doing it, but getting very successful very quickly, talk to as many people that don't want to talk to you, handle their objections, so when you go to a motivated person, it's going to be so much easier. Learn the art of wordplay. Now, let me give you a quick example of what I mean by the art of wordplay. Is, I'm going to give you $3,000 to take over your payments. Or I'm going to give you $3,000 to take over your mortgage. Why would you not want to take that deal? What? Like, do not say that. It's like, after you break everything down, it's like, hey, do you know that you're going to write a $5,000 check at closing? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, if I can show you where I can make you more money in your pocket, is that something you consider? Yes. So after I do this, if I pay you $5,000 to take over your mortgage, and it's gonna be this, right? Even like in that, we're gonna get into that sales pitch a little bit later on, so don't worry. That was just like a teaser. But what it is becoming the expert and showing them that you're the expert, and then you go ahead and try to close on the deal. And okay, and then on top of that is, how can you say things in uncommon ways? And on top of that is, how can you say common things in uncommon ways, which is kind of what I just went into. If I can give you more money at closing, or if I can make you $10,000 at closing, is that something you'd consider? Yes. That sounds very uncommon too. I'm going to give you $10,000 to take over your monthly payments. You see where the difference is, right? So try to say the common thing that everyone is saying, which I'm going to give you money to take over payments. Just learn how to say it in an uncommon way where it sounds so much nicer to the seller. Do not sound like everyone else. So thankfully for you, we're going to go through some in-depth things of the actual way where I come in and I actually talk to these sellers and I teach them. Because remember, this is a game of educating the sellers and teaching the sellers slash realtors. So if we can learn how to do things and where we don't sound like everyone else, you're going to get a lot more deals. Everyone in the wholesale industry has been trained by someone in the wholesale industry, so have a peace of mind that guess what? This is a creative finance course, so a lot of the things I say, I'm going to say gems without me even knowing about it, just the way I talk. But be trained by someone that's in the creative finance world because we have a very different way of saying things because we say things that always are a win-win situation. The wholesale industry and the realtor industry is completely different from the creative finance slash subject to world. So if you're barely getting introduced to this, welcome, because it is a whole different introduction. I mean, it's a whole different this is a whole different sales pitch that we have on this side in order to create win-win situations that probably a lot of you haven't heard of, or if you have, hear it and take action on what you're going to hear. And then how can you sound like an expert in the creative finance industry? After we go through everything we go through in this course, you will be, I'm not going to say an expert, but you will be pretty close. And with the reps that you put in, then you will become an expert in this industry. Learn the art of presenting a deal. This right here, whether you know your numbers or not, this right here is the art of presenting the deal. Because if you have your confidence, tonality, and posture right, if you get this far, you're gonna make money regardless, just because you're probably gonna get the contracts. But you're gonna listen. So learn to listen to these people when they're talking. Show them that you listen. So just say, for example, you're talking to them and say, yeah, my kids live in Dallas and I want to go to Dallas too. School starts in August. It's May right now, and I just want to make sure I sell my property before. Okay, that's when you're talking to them. Then you show them that you listen. Hey, you told me that you want to go to Dallas by August. Is that correct? Cool. Then you go into to become the expert. You told me you wanted to list your property. Right now, we're already getting kind of close to June, right? Yes. So the average days on market is 90 days on the property. Is that something you're aware of? Yes or no, whatever the answer. Are you going to list it with a realtor or are you going to decide not to list it with a realtor? Well, my friend's a realtor and I want to list it. Okay. So the average days on market is 90 days. After closing costs and commission, you're actually going to have to write a $5,000 check. Is that something you expected? No. If I can show you, which goes into here, different option that they may have for situations. If I can show you a way where I can put $5,000 to $10,000 in your pocket and close within 3 weeks, is that something you might consider? Yes. Then you take them to Maui, which is the figure of speech of take them to their paradise that they're looking for, and then you close on the deal. That right there is kind of a way that you transition from showing that you listen to become the expert to close. So that's the way that you can transition from learn to listen, show them that you listened, become the expert, show them different options, take them to their quote unquote paradise, and then you close on the deal. That's kind of the sales pitch and the process that every deal should go through. And in brief, this is the art of presenting seller finance. Now, what are we expected to learn in this course is subject to seller finance, the 10B2 calculator, principal reduction, interest reduction, principal and interest reduction, term, interest, length, down payment, holding costs, closing costs, resale value, cash flow, ROI, or return on money. Hard money, which we're not going to really touch into because we're expecting the sellers to loan us money in the form of a quote unquote seller finance slash subject to. Private money, seller's money, and buyer's money. So after all of this, I hope at the end of this course, what we can do is we can make the uncommon sound common. And you'll know exactly what I mean when we finish up this course. I'll see you in the next one.